Let's get
Welcome. It's quiet here. Relaxing, even. But not for long. A canvas, unpainted, ready to be created on. A weekly ritual, a bright spot in your long week. Remember, there are 14 football games being played today. 14. Accompanied with a soundtrack that's music to your ears. A cascading symphony that echoes. It resonates within you.
Johnny put it in your veins, boy. Golly.
The melodic nature of game day.
180! Turn up by 20!
Sweet, sweet harmony. Now, sit back.
Oh, what a hit!
Relax.
Keep hitting!
And enjoy the show. The sounds of a Sunday on Fox.
Well, the sound of joy is all we've heard from Aaron Rodgers lately. Today, he and the Packers try to walk into a fourth straight win, taking on Joe Burrow in the first place Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, Big Ben and the Steelers have been heading in the opposite direction, with many thinking his best days are done. We'll see what he has to say about that facing the mighty Broncos at the top of the hour. And the man in Minnesota continues to be Justin Jefferson. 3 straight games with a touchdown for the second-year player, who just may be the best young wide receiver in all of football. Hey, it doesn't get much better than the divisional rivalries we will see later today on Fox in America's Game of the Week. Most of you will see Saquon and the Giants visit Dak and the first-place Cowboys in a good old-fashioned NFC East battle. While out west, others will catch the 49ers Trey Lance making his first NFL start against the last undefeated team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals, led by the electrifying Kyler Murray. Hey, he's almost as electric as the lineup of Ford electric vehicles, which power up the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. And that includes the all-new, all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning. It's the only EV that's an F-150. Come on in and stay a while, folks. I'm Kurt Menefee. Thanks for letting us be a part of your Sports Sunday. Terry, Howie, Michael, Jimmy, we've got a lot to live up to after the Sports Saturday. We saw lots of college football upsets and a heck of a fight going on in Las Vegas.
Wow.
We had the boardroom last night, Michael, and a couple of us to be there.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. I had the heart of warriors in both of those guys, and just to see the back and forth, it was like watching a Rocky movie.
Something about heavyweight.
Yeah, it was like watching Ginny and Terry sometimes struggle to get dressed, you know, it was like a back and forth.
I had 2 more game tapes I had to finish before the
Oh, that's why you didn't go.
I couldn't go.
Well, congratulations to Tyson Fury on his big win last night. All right, lots to get to as we kick off things with our social media check known as #, hashtags, which begins with a guy who was the Defensive Player of the Year just 2 seasons ago, Stephon Gilmore, getting traded from the Patriots to his hometown Carolina Panthers, which he celebrated on social media. Elsewhere, the Cowboys cut former Pro Bowl linebacker Jalen Smith, who then quickly signed with the Green Bay Packers. While the Chiefs and Bills battle it out tonight in a rematch of last year's AFC title game, and LeBron made it clear who he thinks is the beast of QBs. And finally, we should have figured that bad juju was in the air for Seattle Thursday night when the team mascot Tama the Hawk went rogue and landed on this dude's head. If only that were the worst thing to happen to the now last place Seahawks that night. We'll have more on that in just a bit as Jay updates us on the latest with Russell Wilson and his surgery. But first, let's get back to the AFC rematch here, at least AFC title game rematch between Buffalo and Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a great game. And again, it's out in Kansas City. And last year it was Buffalo deciding to play coverage. And they ran for 245 yards, 46 rushes. And Mahomes and that offense is as dynamic as you can get. 5 touchdowns last week. It all comes down to what Buffalo decides to take away. I think they'll play coverage again and force Mahomes to be patient. Andy's not patient. Mahomes not patient. Mahomes wants the home run. This game goes a long way into determining where they play, if they meet up in the playoffs in Kansas City, traveling to Buffalo in January, 20 below, they'd rather have them in Kansas City, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both teams.
Michael, today Tampa Bay takes on Miami, and for a change, Tampa Bay can just talk about football.
Yeah, for one, we all watched Tampa and that big game against the Rams. The Rams treated it like a Super Bowl. Tampa treated it like a big game. But I think that, you watch that, they lose that game. I saw the look on Tom Brady's face, and that's the look he had on his face when he had early struggles with Tampa last year, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. If anybody can let a team know, hey, if you want to repeat as the champion, these are the things you have to do. They have that in Tom Brady as their quarterback. So I'm sure they'll get back on track. New England. Going up there, very emotional win when the field goal goes off the upright. So now they can focus more on football. They're number one passing offense in the league. Just got to get their secondary together.
Yep.
Cornerbacks out on IR. Winfield Jr. out this week. Going to be tough for the secondary. Richard Sherman struggled a little bit last week.
Tough matchup going on between Cleveland and the Chargers, Jimmy.
Yeah, Kurt, you look at this game, it should be a high-scoring game. The Chargers, they've got a star at quarterback, Justin Herbert. 6 touchdown passes in the red zone the last couple of weeks. And in fact, if I was drafting in the NFL today, of all the players, my number one pick would be Justin Herbert. He's that biggest star.
Over Mahomes?
Over Mahomes.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, the other thing,
I can see it.
You look at Cleveland, they're running for over 5 yards a carry. Now, they got Chubb and Hunt. Yeah, they're good running backs. But I think the one thing they got an outstanding offensive line coach. And in building a staff, the one position coach that's more important than the players is the offensive line coach. Now, Bill Callahan's doing a great job. They've got good running backs. They'll run the football today on the Chargers.
Hey, Howie.
How those offensive line coaches do against you, Howie?
Cleveland's offensive line, pretty darn good.
They're pretty good.
He's coached some pretty good offensive lines, and I agree. He might be the best offensive line coach in football.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terry, let's get back to that Thursday night game because the Rams got back to their winning ways.
They did.
But Seattle, not only did they lose the game, they lost their quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Right. With Russell Wilson going out, hey, America, who tells you the truth? Me, right?
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you a rooster dips enough you do what, Howard?
If you got to tell somebody you're telling the truth, you're probably not telling the truth.
Hey, Michael, my turn to talk.
Go ahead, bud.
I think we're down right now. It's Arizona Cardinals. It is the Los Angeles Rams in that division. I don't believe the 49ers can match up with them offensively or defensively. If there's one word I have, it's with the Rams in their defense. They have not played dominant football.
The big question, though, for Seattle is Russell Wilson. How long will he be out? Exactly what happened there, Jay Glazer?
Well, he tore something called his, we get this exactly right here, his extensor tendon. And what that extensor tendon does is it keeps your fingers straight. When you tear that, it actually causes these two joints to dislocate, and that's what happened there to Russell Wilson. So they actually sewed the tendon back to the bone. That takes about 3 or 4 weeks to heal. And right now the Seahawks are saying, well, he's going to be out 4 to 8. And the reason why is after that heals in 3 to 4, then how long does it take for him to get motion and feeling back in that finger? Nobody knows that. It's all really on how he heals.
All right, talking about injuries, exactly 364 days ago, Dak Prescott had that bad ankle injury playing against the Giants. Today, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys face the Giants. Has that affected him at all this week?
You know what? The Cowboys, at least the players and the coaches, they haven't brought it up to Dak. Dak hasn't really brought it up to them. They said, look, Dak was very emotional in his first game back against Philadelphia, and this is Dak's deal. So they didn't go out of their way to say, hey, let's have this big comeback here for Dak. But no, Dak himself also this week has actually not looked at the end of that play at all.
Finally, it came out this week that Raiders head coach John Gruden sent an insensitive email, to say the least, with a racial stereotype about 10 years ago. How did that go over inside that Raiders locker room?
Well, John Gruden, he went and gathered his entire team, and he told the team what had happened. He apologized to his team. As far as the NFL right now, the NFL, they're holding off on reserving any judgment at this point because they're still going through emails. These emails actually are coming out because of something happened with the Washington football team. So at least at this point right now, whether or not the NFL is going to levy any judgment on John Gruden, it's still a wait and see what else comes out in these emails.
All right. What'd you have to say, Terry?
You know what? I wanted our viewers to know the last finger that touches a football is the index finger. And so when they say 4 weeks, this thing is going to be sore. It's going to swell up. I think it's going to take more than 4 weeks before he's coming.
You're talking about Russell?
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
I thought it was his middle finger.
It is. Middle?
Middle
Yeah,
finger.
okay. Well, then You know what, folks? Just forget what I just said.
But hey, remember, he's telling you the truth.
No,
We'll be back.
word. I swear to you, I thought it was this big.
Coming up, the Cardinals are undefeated and flying high. We break down what makes them the best in the West. Plus, it's been a tumultuous year for the Steelers. Can they bounce back in an AFC showdown versus the Broncos? And later, Randall Cobb is back with the Pack. He talks about his relationship with Rodgers and hopes to bring a championship back to Titletown. And the Cowboys are winners of 3 straight. Aaron Andrews catches up with one of their biggest stars, Ezekiel Elliott, to discuss what has the boys buzzing in Dallas. All that and more ahead on Fox NFL Sunday.